I am great. After that, boy, I need space, but I need space. I need space. I need space. I want space. I want space. I want space. Y'all out here hollering about one on block. I need space. I want 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 space. Y'all out here hollering about one on block. I need space. I need space.
Shalom, Israel, Mosiah, and Christ bless. I'm Officer Yawanathan, to my right.
Soldier Levi.
All right, today's class will be titled Charity, a Public Service Announcement. All right, a public service announcement. All right, why? Because this country is afflicted, the world is afflicted with a plague of the Lord. All right, and in this time we should be, as a people that's not desired of the nations, we should be able to focus, and we should be more interested in focusing on each other to sustain each other, to help each other in these hard times, right? So let's start off with the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 25. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another.
So the Most High's vision, we're all the Lord's children. All right, so his vision, the Lord has never taught us and has never shown us to care for groups. You know, a lot of times we're closer to people here and there. We're closer to certain people. That's, you know, it is what it is. Nevertheless, we're all Israel. We're all the Lord's children. All right, and he says there should be no divisions, no schisms in the body. All right, as it pertains to what's lacking in the nation right now, what's necessary for the nation right now are things like we have our elderly. Our elderly, they're not able to go do certain things. They might need medication, all right, but they can't leave home because of their fear of or their how this COVID-19 might affect them, all right. But there are young amongst us. Give me that scripture on the young, bro. What is that? 1 John 2 and 14. 1 John 2 and 14. All right. We have young amongst us that can do these things. The young are stronger. All right, so the Lord has charged the young to take up the slack where the elder men or the older men may not necessarily have their strength, right? Go ahead.
The book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 14. I have written unto you, fathers, because ye have known him that is from the beginning. I have written unto you, young men, because ye are strong, right, and the word of God abideth in you. And ye have overcome the wicked one.
All right. So those brothers who are in the spirit, all right, what you're going to do is you're going to look, you're going to seek to this is a perfect opportunity to be what you are. You're strong. So where do you fit in this? Everything shouldn't be just put on the leadership, just put on the elders. You young men, find out where you can fit in to help, to assist, and how you can assist in especially in times like this, with the elderly, with the older brothers, the older sisters. All right, that's what the Lord charges you young men to do. All right, us young men to do. All right, give me the book of 1 Corinthians 14 and 1. All right, 14 and 1. What are we talking about? We're talking about charity. We're talking about, because right now, even if we fellowship, the schools are shut down, camps are shut down. The regular administrations that IUIC would have, that we would have, are for the most part, they're shut down right now. They're shut down. So what else would you be doing? How else would you fulfill the works of the Lord? How else would you fulfill charity? How else would you fulfill some of these things that really you'd only be doing because the school is open? You understand? But the Lord has charged us to these things whether the school is open or not. These things are for our soul. All right, come on.
Of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts.
Right, so it's good. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, right? So follow after charity, meaning follow after how you can deal with your brother, how you can, what you can do to help your brother out, what you can do to help your sister out. What is your brother in need of? What is his flesh? What is his body in need of? Not his mind necessarily. Yeah, that too, right? But how likely is it that a brother, especially one that's new in the faith, or one that's not even in the faith yet sometimes, how would a brother or sister understand the spirit that you have in you as more desirable than what's in everybody else. Because you have charity. Because you have charity. Now, let's get that in James 2 and 16.
The book of James, chapter 2 and verse 16. And one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be you warmed and filled.
Start at 15 so we can get the thought.
Verse 15. If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food.
Destitute of what?
Of daily food.
Of daily food. So the spirit, yeah, you can answer brothers' questions in the Bible. That's good. That's really, really good. That's excellent, right? But during this time in the world where it's this pandemic, the stores are shut down. You can't even really go to the hospital if you're sick. It got to be like a approved visit. So there's no such thing as an emergency room no more, really. All the things that we're used to sustain us, we don't necessarily have, especially if we don't have charity. So if a brother is lacking food, you know what I mean? Well, you got a little bit too much right now. So you can take the brother some things that he needs for his soul, for his soul and his body. All right? But read the rest of that.
Verse 16. And one of you say unto them, depart in peace. Be you warmed and filled.
Be you warmed. So you just pray for the brother. You just give him something spiritual to ponder on, right? But you don't got no help on. You ain't got nothing on his situation that he going through. But you good, right? How likely is it that the brother will take you or your doctrine serious? You or the spirit that Christ is giving you serious? It's not very likely. Not very likely. All right? But go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 14. You want to
finish that up?
Yeah, if it's not done, go ahead, finish it.
Notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are needful to the body.
Needful to what?
Needful to the body. What doth it profit?
What does it profit them? Now go back to 1 Corinthians 14 where he says the same thing. Right? He's talking about spiritual gifts. He's talking about teaching and prophesying, but nevertheless, and charity in a different light or in a different way. But charity is charity. You helping a brother in what he lacks in, whether it be the spirit or whatever it may be for his body. Right? Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts.
Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts. Read.
But rather that ye may prophesy.
But rather that ye may prophesy. All right, so nevertheless, we must follow after charity. We must follow after charity, especially in pandemics like this. This shouldn't be a pandemic to us. It really shouldn't, because the Lord told us how to deal with one another. The Lord told us that we are a nation. The Lord told us how we are to sustain each other. We should understand that the Lord has our sustenance. He has our well-being in mind. He has that. That's good. That's taken care of, right? So this shouldn't be a pandemic to us. Yeah, it should be an affliction because it's not as comfortable as we've been used to living. Right? But it shouldn't be a pandemic. We shouldn't be confused. We shouldn't be afraid of what's next. Afraid of not what's the thing? Toilet tissue. Lady got stabbed in her ribs about some toilet tissue. I saw an old lady walking past. This old lady was walking past this younger woman. All right, Esau, and she walking with her cart, and she got her a nice case of toilet tissue in the cart. One of the big, not just the little 6-pack. No, she had one of the like a block, like 12 rows in that thing, right? So she's strolling down the aisle with her stroller and her tissue and her buggy. I'm talking about old eater, like 80 years old, don't walk fast, can't run no more, like old, right? Elderly, right. Elderly woman. Walk past, just grabs it right out of her buggy. The old lady. That's what this pandemic has done. This not the young and foolish. This is the old woman. Goes in the young woman right while she's walking and takes the toilet tissue out of her cart. This is on YouTube. I saw it. Or YouTube or somewhere online. I saw it. She just takes it out of her cart like it's just, hey, listen, every man for himself. So to the world, to society, this is a pandemic. But it should not be in Israel. All right, so they in the store fighting about toilet tissue. Toilet tissue. That's where we at. That's where this country is at anyways. But go ahead, where was we at?
We're in 1 Corinthians.
1 Corinthians? Okay, go. What was we going? Tobit. Give me Tobit 1. Give me Tobit 1. And start at 3. Start at 3. Yeah.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 3.
Right. So be mindful, Israel. Be mindful, brothers and sisters, that the schools are shut down. Everything is shut down. Our regular scheduled programs, they shut down. Feast days, we can't. Most of us, I think Georgia's good. Georgia's good. Now they can get back to congregating. All right. Lord's will, you know, they can, day assignment coming up, right? So Lord's will, they can come together for the day assignment. The new moons and all of that, you know, for whatever time until Esau shut it back down, right? But most of us can't. We don't have the feast days where we come together. And if we come together at somebody's house, no more than 10. You know what I mean? Restricted numbers, regulated numbers, how much we can do. Some people even got curfews, all right? So that being said, what can you do as far as charity, as far as your works, as far as your alms, as far as the deeds that you've done to maintain your treasures in heaven as it pertains to, or as Christ has charged us? What can you do? The schools are shut down. All right? Our schools are shut down. All right? So the decoration teams, the flyer missions, camp even. What can you do? What is your alms? What is your alms? Only alms we have right now, Israel, is charity. That's literally our only alms. Of course, we get the dollar. We send your money in because the school has to maintain. The school has to be maintained while we're not there. Brothers and sisters, a lot of brothers and sisters not working right now. Lost their jobs, laid off, what have you. Or even if you work for yourself. Ain't nobody trying to have you at their house if they're afraid of COVID-19. Ain't nobody trying to have you at their business if they afraid of COVID-19. And where we at, it's only essential businesses open. All right? So even if you work for yourself, we shut down. The Lord got us focusing on something else right now, obviously. Right? But read this.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 3. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice. And I did many alms deeds.
You did what?
Many alms deeds.
So Tobit walked in all the ways of truth and justice, and by that did many alms deeds. Many alms deeds. What was Tobit? Read Tobit 1.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 1. The book of the words of Tobit, son of Tobiel, the son of Ananiel, the son of Ajuel, the son of Gabiel, of the seed of Asiel, of the tribe of Naphtali. Verse 2. Who in the time of Enemessar, king of the Assyrians, was led captive out of Thebes.
Where was Tobit during the time when he was giving his alms deeds? He was in captivity. He was in captivity. And if you read the history of the king of Assyria, both kings of Assyria, wicked as hell. Those were not, we didn't have liberties under these kings as we had in under Darius Cyrus. We didn't have those liberties. We weren't given our treasures and things back and given liberty to go rebuild Jerusalem. Go back to Jerusalem and rebuild. Teach the people. The king fears the Lord. We didn't have those things under the Assyrians. All right. So read on. I'm going to jump back to 3. I'm sorry.
Verse 3. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice.
So captivity was not an excuse for Tobit not to walk in the commandments or in the ways of justice. Read on.
And I did many alms deeds.
And also neither was it an excuse for him not to do his alms deeds. Read.
To my brethren and my nation.
To his brethren and to his nation. To his brethren and to his nation. So how is walking in truth and justice, all right? What does that have to do with alms deeds? It's a commandment, brothers and sisters. Us taking care of each other, it's the law. It's a commandment. It's not just an option. It's not a choice. It's not if you feel like it, if you feel comfortable. You understand? It's who we are. Go to Leviticus 25 and 35. Leviticus 25 and 35. This was something that the Lord already established. So what was Tobit talking about when he said, I've walked in all the ways of truth and justice? This is what he was talking about. All the days of his life. You read about Tobit, that's all you're going to find Tobit doing. Tobit jeoparded his life. No, I'm not saying go and jeopard your life. No, I'm not saying go and break the law. But Tobit jeoparded his life. He did not break the law, but he jeoparded his life keeping this commandment. Read.
The book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him.
With thee is going into the brother is you dealing with the brother. You know of a brother and he's broke now, right? He be waxing poor with you. You know him. He broke, right? This is somebody you know. Read.
Then thou shalt relieve him.
Then you should relieve him. You should make sure he's straight. Read.
Yea, though he be a stranger.
Even if he's a stranger. Even if he's a stranger. Remember, it's talking about your people. So strangers not talking about Moab that was with you. Or let's speak back in these times. Moab that was with us. That was probably with us. The Egyptians that was probably that fled with us. Or any other nations. The Edomites that was with us. All these other nations is not the stranger that he's talking about here. Read it from the top again.
Verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor.
If thy brother be waxen poor. Read.
And fallen in decay with thee.
Meaning he ain't got it no more. He jacked up now. He jacked up now. He fallen into decay. So he ain't eating. He ain't got nowhere to stay. He ain't got no clothes on his back, or his clothes is busted. Right? His shoes is busted. His sandals got holes in it. His boots got holes in them. Right? Come on.
Then thou shalt relieve him.
You shall relieve him. Then you shall relieve him. Read.
Yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee.
Right? That he may live with thee, meaning if you eating, this brother shouldn't be hungry. If you ain't naked, you should put some clothes on your brother's back. You understand? If he's naked, if he's fallen into decay, right? If you're sustained, so shall ye sustain your brother or your sister.
Right.
All right, come on. Was that it on that?
Verse 36.
Go ahead.
Take thou no usury of him, or increase.
So don't look at this brother and say, you know what? He's desperate right now. I can come up. I can come up off this brother because what he gonna say? No. I can give him a loan for $3,000 and I can tell him, give me $6,000 back. I can do that. What are you going to say? No. What are you going to say? That's a bad deal. He might say it's a bad deal. He's still going to take it because he ain't got nothing. That's usury. That's evil as hell. And guess who does that to us? The enemy. And the Lord says that's a curse. He shall lend to thee and thou shalt not lend to him. That's a curse. And you have a demon on you to deal with your brother the same way. Lord said we should not take usury or any increase of our brother that's fallen into decay. Read.
But fear thy God.
But fear thy God, which means what? Keep the commandment. This is a commandment, brothers and sisters. Come on, jump back to Tobit. Jump back to Tobit. So now we have an understanding of what Tobit meant when he said he walked in the ways of truth and justice all his life. All his life. 1 and 3. You got it? Yep.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 3. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice. And I did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation.
And his nation. His brethren and his nation. His brethren and his nation. Whether it be a brother with you or somebody that's a sojourner or stranger, all his nation, that's who he did alms deeds to. That's who he did. Let's see what these alms deeds were. Jump down to verse 13, I think it is. No, 15. Let me see. It's 15, right? 15. Jump down to 15.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 15. Now when Enemessar was dead, Sennacherib his son reigned in his stead, whose estate was troubled, that I could not go into Media.
So his estate was troubled, meaning a similar situation that was going on now. The brother couldn't just travel. He couldn't just move the way he wanted to move. All right? He couldn't just go where he wanted to go. Sort of like what we have now. All right? Read.
Verse 16. And in the time of Enemessar, I gave many alms to my brethren.
In the time of Enemessar, he gave many. So in the time of this trouble, he gave many alms deeds to his brothers, right? Watch this.
And gave my bread to the hungry.
All right. So in the time of this trouble, or the previous trouble, he gave alms deeds, and he gave whatever his nation needed, whatever the brothers and sisters of his nation were lacking. Tobit was a brother that would go and fix that. Tobit was a brother. Hey, you hungry? I got you. I'm on my way. I'm gonna be over there. Oh, I heard someone they struggling over there. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna deal with that. That's what Tobit did with his life. That's what he did, right? Then so that king died, and his son reigned in his stead, right? So Tobit is trouble. He's like, yo, I can't move how I need to move. It's getting more difficult for me to keep that law. It's getting more difficult for me to say, it's becoming to be more of an issue with me being able to keep up my arms. This is how serious Tobit considered these things. This is how serious he took the spirit the brother had on him to take care of his nation, to see that nobody was in decay with him. Nobody. Read.
And my clothes to the naked. And if I saw any of my nation dead or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him. Verse 18.
Yeah.
And if the king Sennacherib had slain any, when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried him privily.
Because the king Sennacherib, he murdered a lot of Israelites. He murdered a lot of us for emotional reasons. All right? The Assyrian captivity was one of the worst captivities of all of Israel. How we went into captivity under Salmanassar, how the things that happened to us there, that history is horrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. So it was a lot of Israel being murdered by this king. Not for injustices, not for breaking the laws or anything. That's just how he got out. Right? Read on.
For in his wrath he killed many.
Because what happened? His father just died. So it says when his father died, there was much trouble in the land. Meaning it was hard to move. It was hard to move. It was hard to get around. It was hard to take care of your go check on your brethren. Go check on the brothers and sisters that you knew. Make sure everybody good. Make sure everybody eating. Make sure everybody's clothed. Right? It was hard to move around. It was hard to get around because he was Sennacherib was upset about Manasseh's father who just died. So he was killing people. For emotional reasons, he was just killing us. Read.
But the bodies were not found.
Right. So what was happening was he would kill somebody and he would take us and he would make us ornaments. All right. He would he would make us ornaments. All right. Displays of his destruction, his reign over Israel. All right. And he would what do you call it? Desecrate the bodies, the corpses of our brothers and sisters. That's what he would do. All right. So what Tobit would do is he would go and fight. He heard somebody got put to death. Like, dang, they got so and so. They got another brother over at against the northern wall or whatever. Tobit would go and he would privily, like nighttime hit, before the king sent back for the crews to clean up the streets, clean up the walls and all the bodies he killed of us. Tobit would slide back through there and he would clean the body up and bury it. That's what he was doing. That's what Tobit. That's how Tobit was getting down, right? Read.
When they were sought for of the king, and when one of the Ninevites went and complained of me to the king, that I buried them and hid myself, understanding that I was sought for to be put to death, I withdrew myself for fear. Right.
So how did Tobit know all these things? He feared the Lord more than he feared the nations. Was what Tobit doing illegal? No, it wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal. It was just the king in his wrath. He did much evil to Israel. He did much evil to Israel, right? But that's just an example of charity. That's just an example of who to fear. Understand? Tobit was moving wisely. Yeah, he didn't want to be put to death, as none of us would. He was moving wisely. He feared the Lord. He knew that what he was doing was would upset the king. This wicked, I am not going to call him king. This wicked heathen. He knew that it would upset this wicked heathen, right? Sennacherib. So he just moved privately. That's what he did, right? Let's go. That's just an example of charity. That's an example of charity, right? Let's go to Sirach 29. Because we touching on not just charity, but the spirit that goes with charity. It's a spirit that goes with charity. Because it's not charity. Say if somebody asks you for, hey, look, man, my light's about to get cut off. I need $500 to keep it on. And I say, okay, I get mad and I hit you with the $500. I hit you with it. Yeah, bro, we can't let the lights get cut off. I get mad, I ball it up and throw it on the floor. Yeah, you go and get it. You know what I mean? Or I hit you with it. Or all right, man. Yeah, I got you. Damn. That's not charity. That's not charity. That's not charity. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show you that's not charity.
1 Corinthians 13?
Yeah, yep, 1 Corinthians 13. Yeah, read that.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 3.
Yep.
And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing.
So though you give what? Read that part again.
And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor.
Ain't that charity? He said he give all his goods to feed the poor. Wouldn't that be called charity? Wouldn't that be called, right? But read on.
And though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing.
And have not charity, it profiteth nothing. So charity is a spirit as well as an action. Charity is a spirit as well as an action, right? Read on from there. We're gonna get more on this. Look, look up vaunt. Definition of vaunt, because he said he gonna say a word in there, and it's not a Negro word, as our leadership says. It's not a Negro word. So look the word up, vaunt. V-A-U-N-T. Vaunt. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Charity suffereth long, and is kind.
And is kind. And is kind. A brother is in need, right? You're not in need, you good, you got it. You're not in need, right? But you don't have the spirit of charity. So you may give that brother money. You may help him out with the light bill, but you hit him with the money. You ball it up and throw it on the floor. You huffing and puffing behind him, asking behind you. Though you said, yeah, though you gave it to him, right? You gave your body, you gave your goods to feed the poor. You did all of that, right? But you wasn't in the spirit when you did it. You wasn't in the spirit when you did it. So it wasn't charity. It wasn't charity. You were just used by the Lord because it's his to begin with. So the Lord just used you to give his money to the brother who he was dealing with. That's all that happened. Come on, read this for me, the definition.
Okay, this is the Merriam-Webster definition of vaunt. All right. Because
Paul said, let me just to back up, get the thought. Paul said, charity suffereth long and is kind. We didn't read it yet. I'm sorry, read it.
Verse 4. Charity suffereth long.
Read.
And is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself.
Read.
Is not puffed up.
Because I said, if you give the money to the brother or sister that's in need, or you give what that brother or that sister is in need of, but you was upset doing it, you didn't have the charity. The Lord had charity on his brother. It wasn't you. It wasn't you. The Lord just used you to put some money in it or give this brother something. That's all that happened. That's all. That's literally all that happened. Was that, read on?
Verse 5.
No. Read it again.
Verse 4. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. Is not puffed up.
Right? Now, let's understand what vaunt means. Read this. Because this is a spirit, this is an attribute of somebody that is not in the spirit of charity, though they may give you something. Like Paul just addressed. Though I bestow all my gifts to the poor, though I give my body to be burned, if I have not charity, right? This is Paul explaining a spirit that goes with charity. Read this. This is an attribute of what is not charity.
This is the Merriam-Webster definition of the word vaunt. To make a vain display of one's own worth or attainment. The synonym it has next to it is brag.
Brag. Read.
And the second definition says to call attention to pridefully and often boastfully.
What would cause a brother to show a brother or display that he's upset with a brother being in need? Pride. 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 Because if you felt in your heart that that you preferred that brother above him, you would be ashamed to show that. You'd be ashamed to display any sign of you being better than him. You being anything that's worth bragging above him. Read definition of vaunt. Entry 2 of 2.
2 of 2?
Yeah.
All right. It says, a bragging, assertive statement. You want 1?
No, 1 and 2. Yeah.
1 and 2. Okay.
Yeah.
The first one, it says, a vainglorious display of what one is or has done. The second definition says a bragging, assertive statement.
Because if you're upset or you're not in the spirit of charity, when you give or though you bestow your goods to feed the poor and to do all these things, if you have a spirit of assertion over them, that's not charity. That's vaunting. And the Bible says charity vaunteth not itself. That's what the Bible says. All right. So just stay in the spirit. It's a lot of things that we do, but it's a lot of fake people amongst us as well. All right. Christianity teaches a lot. It teaches and supports and what do you call it? Reinforce fake behavior. That's what it does. Imagination. So nobody's walking around with the spirit of Christ or dealing in the spirit of Christ, which would have somebody actually in the spirit of charity. You understand? So though you may see people doing certain things, if you're not doing it in the spirit of charity, you're not doing charity. Charity is not what you're doing. All right? Go back. Where was we going? Sirach 29. Sirach 29. All right? It's a lot that comes with charity. It's a lot that comes with charity as a lot of rewards. Charity has not only all the commandments of God, and keeping all the commandments of God adds up to one thing: the kingdom of heaven. It all adds up to the kingdom of heaven. Read this, and then let's go to Revelations 22.
Sir. The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 29 and verse 11. Lay up thy treasures according to the commandments of the Most High.
This is what Tobit was doing. Right? Read.
And it shall bring thee more profit than gold.
More profit than gold, because guess what? We was reading about on the news earlier, or hearing about on the news earlier, how it's famines everywhere. I was reading last week how this country, or I guess the wise men of this country, predicted that this country would go into a famine within the next 2 weeks. All right? That there will be famine in this country in the next 2 weeks. All right? So what profit is there of gold at this point? What is your gold going to profit you when you can't spend it on anything? But what profit would it be if if you've taken care of your nation, and now your nation sees you in need, now your nation sees you hungry, of what profit is that? Read on.
Verse 12. Shut up alms in thy storehouses.
Shut up alms in your storehouses. Shut up things that you've done, charity that you've had on your brother, on your nation, on your sisters. Shut up those as treasure in your storehouses. Read.
And it shall deliver thee from all affliction.
That is what's going to deliver you from all affliction. Because when money fails, when gold fails, we ought to still have one another. If we've been dealing in the spirit of charity, if we've been dealing in the spirit of taking care of each other, if we've been dealing in the spirit of not having our brother or sister in decay with us, that should be the spirit that circulates. That should be the standard, the norm. Was that it on that?
Verse 13.
Come on.
It shall fight for thee against thine enemies.
It shall fight for thee against So whatever stipulations our enemies put against us, put on us, we should, as a nation or a world within a world, we should be able to sustain ourselves. We should be able to. So my brother got one of them 42 packs of tissue, right? He got a giant 42 pack of tissue, and I'm running low. I got 5, but 5 kids too. You know what I'm saying? So hey, my brother should be, hey man, I got this 48 pack, man. I got this 42 pack. Take 10 packs, man. Take 10 rolls. You know what I'm saying? When you get you a big box or case or whatever, then you know what I mean? On top of that, We should be wise enough understanding the times, right? Those that study, those that stayed in this word, right? Should be understanding it's time to store up. It was always time to store up, and especially now, right? So we should be good. You're not storing up for yourself alone. That's not what alms is for. That's not what you working is for. That's not what you investing is for. It's for the nation. It's for all of us. It's for all of us. So that you can help your brother, so that you can keep that commandment. That especially with our people is so slept on. That commandment is so overlooked, slept on. It just don't got no weight with Jake. It don't got no weight at all with black people. You understand? Was it you do me, I'ma do you, and now even with Esau. Not even with Esau. So y'all, black people who like to trust so much in the white man taking care of you, and the white man looking after you, making sure everything is good. Wake up now, black person. Go to sleep now, black person. Go to this job now, black person. Take this money now, black person. Give me this money now. But those of you who are so used to the white man making all your choices and decisions for you, right now, all you have is the word of God. All you have is what you should have been learning the whole time from the Most High. That's all you have now. That's all we have. The things that you trusted in so much from the enemy, they're all failed now. All of that stuff is failed, and it's failing. And or failing. All of it. Right? Read on. Was that it on that?
It says, verse 12, shut up alms in thy storehouses, right, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction.
Read.
It shall fight for thee against thine enemies, better than a mighty shield and strong spear.
Right, because those alms that you set up, that you store up in these storehouses, when Esau shed all his stuff, when Esau ain't telling you, go spend your money now, black man. Go spend your money now, black woman. Go to sleep now, black woman. Now watch TV, black man. Now do this, now do that. Now it's time to, when the white man is quiet, worrying about his damn self and his people, all right, or every man for himself, this is what you're going to have to fall back on. Your alms deeds. This is what your people going to have to fall on. Alms deeds. This principle, this spirit. This is all we have. This is what this what do you call it? This rich or society of excess. This is what it's about to fall to. This is what it's about to fall to. And the Lord is going to separate those. The Lord is going to separate his and the others. And it's going to be by this. But anyways, this country and all the comforts and the spirit of excess and just gluttony and just reveling that this country just, the spirit of this country just thrives on. All right, it's going to be reduced. It's going to be reduced. The Lord is going to take all wisdom, all power from this people before he comes and destroy it. That's what he's going to do. That's his plan, right? So go to Jeremiah 30. Where does that leave the Israelite man and woman? Where does that leave us? 17.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. Because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion. Right?
Because that's how we are, the nation not desired. That's us. And now above all, I ain't gonna say above, but especially now, you're gonna see just how precious you were to the white man. That friendly one, that one that didn't show his colors. I was watching a TV show, and what's it called? It's called Black AF. Man, that thing funny as hell. But what he said was, he was talking to his servant, his what do you call it? The person that worked for you? Assistant. He was talking to his assistant, and he was like, yeah, you know, you white. He was like, I'm Jewish. He was like, hey, you white though. He's like, I'm Jewish. He's like, look, bro, if it go bad, you white. So just stop. You know what I mean? When you can't front no more, when it's not all these different lines blurred, you know good and well as I do that you white. you white, right? And the same way that you going, all the white people going, you there ain't nobody gonna be denying that they white. If they could still have slaves, ain't nobody gonna be saying they ain't white. You understand? That's not gonna be happening. If all the whites rise up against the blacks and want to kill us or hurt us or do something like that, it's not gonna be. You're not gonna be denying that you white. So let's not. You know what I'm saying? I can't deny that I'm black, but you can deny that you white. So that's the point he was making, right? All these things and comforts and lies and deceits of this place are going to fail. And when they do, where does that leave the so-called black man and woman? Where does that leave us? Because the white man fed you. The white man helped you. The white man, the hospitals healed your wounds, right? It wasn't the Lord. The white man did that. So when it all fails, what do you have? You have the Lord. He's literally the only one that can heal you. He's always been the only one that can heal you. But by the deception and the foot of the enemy on our necks, a lot of us are forced into this spirit, fearing the white man, thinking the white man is the only help, the only savior, the only bandage for your wound, right? The only sustenance you have. But it says, in that day, what's going to happen is, when times get like this, what's going to happen is you're going to be known. It's going to be known that friendly neighborhood white man is going to call you the outcast. What is the world doing? Who started COVID-19? Where did that come from? As far as they're concerned, the black man. You see what's going on in China and Korea. You see what's going on over there. But I thought they loved us. I thought when I know a lot of brothers in the military, right? And Air Force and some in the Navy, when they talk about being over there, they love us over there. You know what I'm saying? They're lustful over there. Not love you. You know, we blessed in certain places. You know what I'm saying? So they love that. They love the strangeness of you. That's it. They don't love you as a person. They don't love you as a person. They ain't introducing you to their moms and pops. You know what I'm saying? Talking about, no, we're going to follow what he says because this is God's people. That's not what's happening. We are an outcast to this world. And every people in it. We are the outcasts. Right? Come on. Was that it? Yeah, go ahead.
This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Right. That's where we are. That's where we are. And I say all praises to the Most High. That's what I say. All praises to the Most High. And keep that spirit. Y'all want to act like y'all love black people? Keep that spirit. When I ain't going to go there. I ain't going to go there. Let's get 1 Corinthians 15:58. Let's stay on point, man. Let's stay on topic. All praises to the Most High. Let's stay on topic, man. But listen, the heathen, they making it plain, man. They making it plain where they stand, where we stand. You know, a lot of countries think that it's they look at accepting black people in their society as they're modern. You know what I mean? They're trendy. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they look at it. It's just a trend, or it's modern. You know, you say nigger to a black person and you're postmodern. You're not developed. You're still, you know what I'm saying? You still uncivilized, or what do they call it?
Socially unacceptable.
Yeah, you're still socially unacceptable. So it's not a cool thing to call us niggas openly, but it's plain to see what we are to you. So whether you're saying it or acting like it, I prefer, you know, if I pick the lesser of two evils, I prefer you say it because you show they don't act like it. You know what I mean? But where we at?
1 Corinthians.
But right. We're gonna try to shut this thing and close this thing down a little bit. But you know, don't be fooled, Israel. Don't be mistaken. Understand where your sustenance comes from, who feeds you, who takes care of you, who clothes you. All right, it's not the white man. It's not the white man. For those who are blind, for those who don't see yet, it's the white man. But for those who know, for those who study this Bible, for those who keep the commandments, you understand that it's by the mercy of God that you are sustained. All right,
and that's why the scriptures say to not accept gifts from them because they'll blind you.
That's right. That matter of fact, let's get that.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Who's the oppressor? All these other nations are the oppressors. Here in America, it's the so-called white man. He is the ruler of the oppressors in the world, and here locally in America. Otherwhere, it's whoever rules that land. That's who the oppressor is. If it's not your people, they are your oppressor. They are what the Bible is referring to as the oppressor. All right? So the oppression is coming from the oppressors. That's these other nations. That's these other nations. So it says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. So like I said, some of us are asleep and we don't understand that you know, these other nations around you hate you, despise you. On a, the brother said, on a molecular level. They hate the cells that's in your body, right? Some of us don't understand that. Some of us are still asleep, and some of us are still ignorant to the Bible and the commandments of it, which is where you get the spirit to wake up out of that. It's where you get the spirit to understand who the oppressor is, right? What oppression is, all right? But read on. So it says, oppression maketh a wise man mad. Read.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
So oppression, to the wise man that's mad about oppression, a gift won't be, the oppressor can't give him a gift and destroy his mind. The oppressor couldn't say, here's what is it called? The stimulus check. Now you done forgot about your brother that's in need. Now you done forgot about the school, the bills at the school. It's just you, hey, every man for himself. They got a stimulus check too. Why I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Why I gotta give some of mine? Everybody got one. Why I gotta give you? That's not a wise man. That's a foolish man that has received a gift, and it has destroyed his heart. Read it again.
Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
Right. So be mindful, brothers and sisters. That's the way it is, man. That's the way it is, man. Deception. We just read that the people call us, we the outcasts, no matter where we at. We the outcasts. We the outcasts. We are the oppressed. We are not oppression to anybody. Nevertheless, we're not desired by anybody. For some reason, we so low and we still just nothing to these people. We still hated by these people as though we're not low enough. Right? So to a wise man, oppression, he's upset about oppression. But a foolish man is somebody who's not stayed in his Bible, especially in these times where you ain't got nobody in front of you now saying, hey man, you've been studying, you've been keeping up with the brother over you, you've been keeping up with the sister over you, to make sure there's nothing in your spirit that needs addressing that you perhaps can't see because you by yourself. It wasn't for nothing the Lord told us to assemble ourselves.
Speak often.
Speak often. It wasn't for nothing. It was because a brother or sister might be able to see something in you that you don't see. Now, brother and sister going to correct you in a way that you're not going to correct yourself. Matter of fact, go to Sirach 19 and 13. Go to Sirach 19 and 13. Because you ain't none of us going to do this to ourselves now. Yeah, read that.
The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 19 and verse 13. Admonish a friend. It may be he hath not done it. And if he have done it, that he do it no more. Right. So this is how strict, this is how serious us fellowshipping is. If you're not fellowshipping, if you're not on the phone with a brother, if you can't, like they have the at-home quarantines, you can't leave your house for some people perhaps. If you can't get on the phone with a brother, how can you do this? If you can't get on the phone with a sister, how can this happen? It says, admonish your friend. It may be he has not done it, but if he has, he do it no more. Right? Or he don't do it. You're not going to do that to yourself. Damn, was you just lusting after that sister that's not your wife? Was you just doing that? Nah, but still, nigga,
You know, this is still, brother. Ain't nobody gonna do that to themselves. You understand? It's gonna take your brother, your sister checking you like that, correcting you like that. Bro, why you was looking over that way? Wasn't nothing over there but some tail. That's all that was over there. Wasn't nothing over there but that whoremonger that you saw over there. That tall drink of water. Like brother, like Levi right here. That's the only thing over there, sister. Come on, you know better than
And I was gonna say that's a cut also to the individual, like who thinks that
yes. Oh Lord,
get salvation by himself.
Lord,
we need each other.
Deacon Asaph was talking about that thing, man. Deacon, you know what that actually is? Just a side note. Got to do it because you brought it up, man. Just a side note. Anybody who's an individual, like especially, see, some people just don't know. You new to the truth and you coming in, you don't really know. You searching for the camp, who's telling the truth, who ain't lying, who, you know what I mean? Because it's a lot you can hear about Israel altogether, Israelite groups altogether. But you don't necessarily know when you knew who's telling the truth, who's not, who got the spirit, who don't, who's the right place for you to be. So you might be surfing the web at that point. You might be surfing. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to a school and you're not being taught to break the commandments, no matter where you go, you're gonna see some foolishness. You're gonna see some foolishness because we ain't in the kingdom. So you're gonna see some foolishness. Does that then mean that ain't the right camp? No, the difference is if leadership is teaching you, if the leaders or the people over you is teaching you to sin and teaching the body to go that direction against God, get the hell up out of there.
Right.
Get the hell up out of there. That ship is going to sink. It's going down. Get up out of there. Get up out of there. If that's not happening, you just don't like correction. You leave because and blame it on some situation that happened off to the side. The leadership ain't even know about, perhaps. The leadership ain't even get to yet. That whatever you may call it, whatever it may be. If leadership wasn't teaching that and you just decide to leave, you didn't want correction. It was some sin that you had in your life and you didn't want the correction that comes with that sin. You didn't want the correction. That's why you left. And Christ said you was never with us. So don't be sad when there ain't no shalom on the street. Don't be sad. Don't be sad when a brother cuts you straight to hell if you see him off in the street. Don't be sad. Don't act surprised. Everybody ain't faking. Everybody ain't faking up in here. So don't be butthurt. All right. I digress. Where was we going?
Still had 2 Corinthians.
1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians.
Oh, 15, you had 2 9 and 6.
Go ahead, get that. Yeah, go ahead, get that. All right, I digress. It's a lot of that going on, man. And it's the end. The Lord said, because iniquity shall abound, the love of brethren shall wax cold. Mm-hmm. The Lord did say that. And we seeing it. We seeing that thing. We seeing that thing. But you gonna run, or you gonna run from this book, or you gonna stay, you gonna learn it and then run from it and dodge it, or dodge people who's also in it to avoid judgment or avoid correction, or you gonna not be in it yourself altogether. And you're not going to be able to survive the affliction or the temptation or the trial that comes your way. You're not going to be able to survive it. You're not going to be, because you're not going to know, you just won't know what to do. You're dumb as a box of rocks. All right? Where you at?
2 Corinthians 9 and 6.
Yeah.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 6. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap bountifully.
Right? So, as it pertains to the spirit of charity, all right? So, like Paul said, he give his body to be burned, he give all his goods to the poor, to feed the poor. But if he has not charity, it's nothing. It's nothing. So in the same way, in the same meaning, a different way to explain it would be you sow sparingly. I mean, you got 100, and you know the brother need 100. You say something to him like, "Man, look, I give you 20. I got 20 on it, man. You understand? And you doing it out of guilt because he can tell somebody or you, the brother looked at you, always looked up to you. The brother always felt like you was the brother that did have charity. The brother always felt like you was the brother that was for real about this. So for that, not because Christ commanded you, say, hey, this is my chance to have more works in the kingdom. The Lord will bless me if I bless this brother. The Lord said to do this. The Lord said, I will receive, you know what I'm saying? He that receiveth one of these little ones in my name receiveth me also. The Lord said these things. No, but because this brother won't see me perpetrating no more. He'll see me as a perpetrator now. He'll be able to see through my BS now. So I'm going to give him a little bit. I just give him, put something on it. You understand what I'm saying? So this is a spirit more so than just an action. But read on. Was that it on that?
That was it.
Read it again.
2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 6. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap bountifully.
What's the sparingly? The Lord said it's a commandment to take care of your brother. It's a commandment to take care of your sister. That's a commandment to feed the poor. That's a commandment. So what's the sparingly? What's the sowing sparingly really going into? What is that really talking about? Read it.
Verse 7. Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give.
As he purposeth in his heart. In his heart. Read on.
Not grudgingly.
Not grudgingly. It's a spirit. Charity is a spirit. Just giving somebody is not just giving somebody something. So you telling me that the white man got charity on us?
Right.
That's what you telling me? Because that's where the food comes from. That's where the money comes, the stimulus check. Huh? That's where the stimulus check comes from. So that's charity. The white man got charity. So is he not our enemy? Does he not hate us? Is he not against us? Because I guarantee you he spent more on destroying us than he did putting the stimulus check out. Guarantee you that. Guarantee you that. Right? But come on.
Or of necessity.
Meaning, what's the necessity? What's the necessity? We all come together in council. Hey, listen, brother so-and-so is going through this, right? And we need to get together. We need to get his brother X amount of dollars, right? So peer pressure, you like, damn, I'm the only one that ain't in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got it, but man, look, man, I ain't trying to get his brother. You ain't gonna say that openly, but this is your own counsel in your own mind, in your own spirit, in your own heart, right? And because the peer pressure, because everybody, you're the only one that's not willing to give or help this brother or the sister out. You want to give for that reason. That would be a necessity, right? Read on.
For God loveth a cheerful giver.
A cheerful giver. You know what I mean? I remember a brother. We sent a brother to help this elderly brother out, right? Older brother, in the start of this quarantine thing, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the brother told me, we took care of the money aspect of it. It was taken care of. The brother said to me, listen, I don't want the money. Just seeing the brother's spirit when he saw that we took care of him was enough. That was payment. That's a spirit of charity. That's a spirit of cheerfulness in giving. That's what that is. And it's real. It's real. So Negroes, that's a real thing. That spirit actually exists. And it's real. It's not everybody is not faking. All right. Was that it on that?
Yes, sir.
Not a cheerful giver. Read verse 8.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
And God is able to make all grace abound towards you.
Right. God is able to make all grace. What is that grace abound towards you talking about? The you reaping what you sowed. You reaping what you sowed. God, all your works, the Lord understands that you did for him because he said so, because you love him. Therefore you love his people. Therefore you love yourself. So God is going to give to you as you gave to somebody else. Read on.
That ye always having all sufficiency in all things.
All sufficiency.
All sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work.
Right. But now give me
Galatians.
yeah. 6 and 9. No, do we get yeah, give me Galatians 6 and 9. All right. So
the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well doing.
Right, because this is as we understand, Christ, he said that what we seeing happening now is just the beginning of hardship. All right, so we literally can't be weary in well doing. All right, us as a people, we got this right in front of us, and he told us what's going to happen. He told us we have no excuse in getting weary. So Paul addresses that. He says, "Let us not be weary in well doing." Right, brothers can get tired of that thing. You know, brothers. You know, a lot of times your charity. You know, somebody could use you because of your charity. But as long as you remember that the Lord is the reason you're doing it and whom you're doing it for, you understand. It would help you with your endurance, right?
It's just like we read in Sirach 29 about laying up treasures where corruption can't get to.
Right. Exactly. Read that.
Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well doing. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Right. In due season we shall reap if we faint not. What's the reap if we faint not? What is that talking about? Go to Revelations 2 and 26. This is what it's talking about.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end.
Through all this captivity, through all the hardships of this captivity, through brothers and sisters trying you, through the trials of faith, right? Through everything, the trials in life, the trials of everything, right? Christ says to him that overcome what? This captivity, this world, and the trials of it. Read.
To him will I give power over the nation.
That's the reward that come in due season from your charity, from you taking care of each other. All right. So I charge you, brothers, you know, call a brother more than you used to nowadays, especially those older brothers. You know what I mean? I got to do better with that myself. You know what I mean? I get pulled in a lot of different directions sometimes. You know what I mean? So I forget to do things. You know, but we all got to do better with that, especially as these times are worsening as it pertains to us being able to see each other when we want to. You know, us being able to, you know, put eyes on each other as often as we used to, or fellowshipping, all those things, man. Where we can, in these days we got to push to do those things that used to be just the norm, the standard for us. All right, so in these days we got to make sure that we kind of overdo that thing. We overdo that. You know, people getting sick. You know, and God forbid, you know, they don't know what to do in that time they get sick. It's a lot, brothers and sisters, that's weaker in the faith than some of us. Check on your brother. Check on your sister. Not because you fear this COVID-19 or the plagues of the Lord. Not because of that. No, not because of that. But because you don't know how somebody else is doing in their spirit. You know what I mean? Let alone their flesh. You don't know how somebody's doing in their spirit. All right, so let's not be weary in well doing. All right, let's not be weary in well doing. We shall reap the reward in due season. So you got to make more of an effort. Hey, bro, what's going on with you, man? You know what I mean? You good? You good? Hey, man, you know what? Come through. Or you got time? Let me come through there. We got to make more of an effort with that. With those more feeble brothers in the body as well. And both in spirit, feeble in spirit, and in body. We have to put more effort into that nowadays than we ever have. All right. And with that, let me give me Romans 15. Romans 15.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 1. We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak.
What is he talking about? That's what he's talking about. So based on this pandemic, right? We may have brothers and sisters that are with us, but they was never strong. Perhaps they knew, perhaps they've been going through battling, sin, battling their situations in their life, and they just weaken their spirit right now. All right. The Bible charges us to do what? Read that again.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak. And not to please ourselves.
And not to please ourselves. So sometimes that might go against what you feel like doing. Sometimes that might go against what you're comfortable doing. I'm not particularly a talkative person. I don't like to just, spark conversation. If somebody asks me a question, then we can talk. If I got something to say, then I'll talk. But, I got to come out of that comfort zone. There may be things that we may have to do that that's not necessarily natural to us, right? We might have to come out of might have to come out of ourselves, if you will. All right, for those that are weak, to help them, to keep them along the way, like a brother on crutches or something, and we helping him into school. He was able to carry himself with his crutches until he get to the stairs. Then we got to go pick that brother up the rest. You know what I mean? The stairs ain't the flat ground. So this hardships that we going through in life right now with the pandemic and the fears that come with this pandemic and with the media pushing, because all they're pushing is fear. That's it. We only hear about the numbers of those who are dying and who hasn't. Nobody's hearing about, the ones that recovered. You ain't hearing no hope stories, no stories of you know what I'm saying? These people these are heroes, or they ain't even pushing it that way. It's just all fear, all deaths and the numbers of COVID-19. That's all we hearing. That's all they talking about. That's all they pushing. All right. So a brother or sister may be a little weaker in the faith. They may be succumbing to these fears. They may not. They brother or sister was poor in this society, in this life. Right. They didn't have as much. And then on top of that, now the pandemic. Now you can't go and buy stuff. Now you can't go and buy stuff like you wanted to. You can't go and get the basic necessities sometimes when you need to. All right? No, thank you. Not right now. When you need to. So they may be a little bit more out of the spirit than what they were initially. All right? And with that being said, we got to understand that we got to carry that load. We got to carry that load, just like we would do if a brother or sister tripped outside. We help them up. All right? We got to care to the body and the spirit of those. Go ahead. You got something?
And I was going to say, and be cheerful about it, because it says,
right. That's right.
Cheerful giver.
That's right.
Spirit of charity.
That's right. Because your brother and your sister is you. Is you. Your brother and your sister is Christ.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.